The finale of Murder Drones was amazing, and I am here to talk about it. If you haven't seen it, this video does get into some very major spoilers, so go ahead and go watch the episode before this video. There's a lot I want to talk about, and I'm a bit scatterbrained, so I'm sorry if I just jump all over the place in this video. Also, I am currently sick, so if my voice sounds kind of funny, that is why. I'll just go over a quick rundown of all the important things that happen in this episode. Uzi and In reunite and come back to stop Sin. Also, V comes in and starts fighting Jay. I was extremely and pleasantly surprised when V came back. That was awesome, and her fight with Jay was so good. Sin, Uzi, and In get into some trouble, but it's all alright in the end. Uzi is able to stop Sin by destroying her heart, which her mother said earlier in the episode that the solver needs a host, and if she destroyed Sin's heart, it would all be good. Or, it should be. I'll get into that later. First of all, I want to say that this animation was amazing. It was beautiful all throughout, and it's great to see it improve so much. I mentioned it in my last video, but I just gotta say it again. The soundtrack was at its peak, I think, especially the huge fight scene between Sin, Jay, Uzi, In, and V. The music was so good. Throughout the entire series, the knife dance song with the prom scene fight that Uzi and In and V have with Doll was always my favorite, but this one probably takes first place for me now. The fight scenes and Murder Drones along with the music just go together so well, and they always sound so great. I do kind of wish this episode was longer. It was only 20 minutes when the last one was at least 25, but I can see why. It's hard to make such a long animation, and it was still good the way it was. It just felt a bit rushed in some areas. The horror elements in this episode were just better than any moments throughout the entire show, in my opinion. The first few episodes, we had some horror, and then the last episode, we had more, which was amazing. But this one just puts the last episode to shame, when it comes to the horror elements anyway. The scene with Sin in the hallway, looking for In and Uzi, and the part where she's just like, let me in, let me in, let me in, that's my best Sin impression. That part was just so good, it freaked me out. This episode was probably my favorite of the entire series, actually. That and episode 3, The Promenading, those are probably just fighting for first place. It was fun to see all the characters in this episode too, especially getting to see a little bit more of Jay. I never liked her, and I did kind of dislike her, because she wasn't my favorite character in the first episode. She was just kind of the worst in my opinion, but seeing her in this episode, I did dislike her a lot less. And it was interesting to see her and V talk. There was like this one part where V says like, we leave that thing alone and it leaves us alone. Something like that. I might not be entirely right. I don't remember the quote. But she also said that to N in the Cabin Fever episode. So was that foreshadowing? Maybe. Sin was also amazing. She is such a good villain and she is terrifying. But at the same time, just hilarious. Also, Thad and Lizzie getting some screen time in this episode and actually having a pretty good, okay role in this episode. It wasn't anything amazing, but it was still good. It was fun to see them. And I think the way the episode ended was pretty much great. There is one thing that I would have liked, and it's just that Sin actually died, because she kind of becomes, part of Uzi, and I don't think there's gonna be a season 2. I know Glitch will probably do more stuff with the characters, with Glitch In and stuff, but I don't think that there's going to be a season 2, which is a bit disappointing. If I'm wrong, that would be great, but I don't think I am about this. I don't think there's going to be one, which, like I said, is a bit disappointing, especially with how Sin is still alive, kind of. Another small thing is that Uzi is suddenly able to resist Sin's control, which I guess I could see why they did this, since, it's easy and it just gets rid of a problem, and they probably didn't have time to take care of that since the episode is so short, but it still doesn't make much sense. But that's just my thoughts, and I'd like to hear yours. This episode was pretty much great, and I really enjoyed watching it, and Murder Drones was amazing, and I'm glad this was something that came to be. Liam has a lot of other projects on his YouTube channel that I do recommend you watching. They're all pretty great, and maybe I'll talk about them sometime on my channel, because I just like some of his projects, and it's cool to see them. Thank you for watching all the way through this video, and I will see you next week. Goodbye!